In this video, we'll take a journey back in time to explore the diverse range of professions that existed during the Middle Ages. From bakers and butchers to master builders and apothecaries, each trade played a crucial role in shaping the society of the time. During the medieval period, trades played a crucial role in sustaining the well-being of the community. Those who acquired a skill through apprenticeship often earned a more stable and higher income compared to farmers or soldiers. To safeguard their interests, professionals such as millers, blacksmiths, masons, bakers, and weavers formed trade guilds. These guilds helped to secure their rights, regulate prices, enforce industry standards, and exclude unlicensed competition. As cities developed from towns starting from the 11th century, trades became more diverse and shopping streets in medieval Europe became bustling centers of activity, showcasing a variety of skilled workers and their products for sale, from saddlers to silversmiths, tanners to tailors. However, it's worth noting that trade practices and trades themselves varied across time and geography throughout the Middle Ages. The following provides a general insight into some of the common and intriguing aspects of trades in medieval Europe. In the medieval period, many children learned the trade of their parents through informal observation and assisting with small tasks. There were also more structured apprenticeships, funded by the parents, where young people would live with a skilled worker or master to gain mastery of their craft. The master, who took on an apprentice, would often serve as a surrogate parent, providing for all their needs and offering moral guidance, while the apprentice was expected to be obedient to the master in all matters. Although the apprentice was not paid, they received food, lodgings, and clothing. Boys and girls typically began their apprenticeships in their early teens, though some started as young as 7 years old. There were instances of apprentices running away, and rules were put in place to ensure the master and the apprentice's father would spend a day searching for the missing youth. There was a 1-year time limit, after which the master was not obliged to take back the runaway apprentice. The duration of the apprenticeship varied depending on the trade and the master, with the average length being around 7 years. For example, a cook's apprentice might only need 2 years of training, while a metalworker like a goldsmith might need to train for 10 years before starting their own business. An apprentice would typically become a master by creating a masterpiece that demonstrated their newly acquired skills. However, obtaining the title of master required both skill and money, and those who could not afford to start their own business were known as journeymen, as they would travel and work for other masters with premises. From the 12th century, once they established their own businesses, master tradesmen became members of guilds. These organizations, led by experienced professionals known as guild masters, aimed to improve the working conditions of their members, ensure the quality of their products, and reduce outside competition. Through regular inspections, the guilds aimed to verify that goods were accurately advertised, that regulations regarding measurements and weights were followed, that prices were fair, and that members did not engage in unfair competition with one another for clients. By establishing regulations on apprenticeships, the guilds were able to control the supply of labor and prevent an overproduction of masters, which could result in a decrease in both labor and goods prices. Although most apprentices and their masters were male, and there were very few guilds specifically for managed by women, a significant number of women were involved in certain trades. Widows, in particular, often played a prominent role in the trades, as they were able to run their late husband's business if they were without a close male relative and remained unmarried. However, there were some restrictions, such as the inability to train an apprentice. Some trades, like the poulterers of Paris, allowed any woman with means to own a business, while others, like silk production and veil making, were dominated by female workers. There are records, including tax assessments, of women managing a wide range of trades, from lace-making to butchery. The daily operation of a castle or manor was dependent on its own mill, which served both the lord's lands and the serfs who were usually required to grind their grain at the lord's mill. The power source for these mills could be wind, water, horses, or even people. A crucial component in setting up a mill was a high-quality millstone that was durable and wouldn't wear down easily. The Rhineland region was known for producing the best millstones, which could cost a hefty sum, such as 40 shillings or the equivalent of 10 horses in England. Given the high cost of the millstone and the fact that the mill was not in constant use, it was often rented out to a miller who could generate profit from it. The miller held a high social status in the community due to their steady income and essential role, but their need to make money to pay for the mill's rent sometimes led to suspicion from other villagers who were worried they did not receive the correct quantity of flour for their grain. During the Middle Ages, the most affordable materials for construction and manufacturing were wood and clay. However, some items required the use of metal, primarily iron, which was much more expensive. This made blacksmiths a crucial member of any medieval community, as they were needed to produce and repair agricultural tools and other objects such as cooking pots and horseshoes. However, because things were made to last as long as possible, blacksmiths were not always busy enough to earn a living solely from their trade. They often needed to inherit the business from their fathers and supplement their income by farming. A blacksmith employed by a manor or castle was better off, as they were typically given charcoal from the lord's forest for free and could also have the help of a few serfs working their farm while they focused on blacksmithing. The bakers were an indispensable part of medieval life, as bread was a staple in the diet, especially for the lower classes. To ensure that the quality, size, and weight of loaves were appropriate, there were regular inspections, particularly in cities. To prevent fraudulent practices, bread was usually stamped with the baker's identification mark. However, some bakers still tried to add cheaper ingredients, such as sand, to the flour in order to increase their profit margins. Those caught were punished by being placed in a pillory with the incriminating bread tied around their necks. To ensure that fresh bread was available early in the morning, bakers were one of the few trades permitted to work at night. The butcher offered prime cuts of pork, mutton, beef, poultry, and game, and although they sold a luxurious product, they were located in the messiest and smelliest area of the town, which made them unpopular among city-dwelling consumers. People were often suspicious of the contents of butchers' sausages, which added to the distrust. To maintain customer trust, the Butchers' Guild implemented additional regulations that prohibited the sale of meat from animals such as cats, dogs, and horses, as well as the blending of tallow and lard. In the Middle Ages, women from the peasant class would spin thread in their homes and then sell it to male weavers. While some women still used upright looms to weave, the process was usually done on a larger scale by skilled male weavers using horizontal looms, which were beyond the means of peasants. The wool produced in England and Wales was highly regarded during this time, and Flanders became a major hub for wool cloth production. The process involved washing the wool to remove grease, then drying, beating, combing, and carding it before spinning and weaving it into rough cloth. This cloth was then fulled, soaked, shrunk, and often dyed, using either a water-powered mill or by being trampled underfoot. Finally, the cloth was sheared and brushed repeatedly to achieve a fine and smooth texture. Having a roof over one's head was a necessity for everyone. As societies became more affluent and towns grew, improved construction methods emerged, leading to a desire for more substantial homes. Peasant families sought to upgrade their traditional mud and timber homes, while lords sought to impress with grand manor houses. This led to the development of specialized trades for various aspects of construction such as masons, tilers, carpenters, thatchers, glassmakers, and plasterers. Carpenters, in particular, were responsible for maintaining homes and other structures such as barns, granaries, churches, and bridges. The master builder and master mason were at the forefront of the building profession. They required mathematical and geometrical skills to create scale models and parchment plans, which the other workers would follow to assemble the components of a building. As they rarely got involved in manual labor, they also had to be effective managers of large teams of skilled workers on specific projects, particularly major ones like building castles or churches. In the bigger cities, there was a wide range of tradespeople. From tailors and drapers to goldsmiths and silversmiths, the variety of trades was extensive. The food industry was the largest sector, But there were also dyers, saddlers, furriers, chandlers, tanners, armourers, sword makers, parchment makers, and basket weavers. To better regulate their members and attract visitors, these trades were often grouped together in specific areas of the city, such as by the city gates or in areas that had a historical tradition for a particular trade. For example, Notre Dame in Paris has a long tradition for books, which still continues today. In the later Middle Ages, medieval doctors obtained their expertise through university education and were highly respected, but their role was limited to diagnosing and prescribing treatment. Actual treatment was carried out by a surgeon and medication was prepared by an apothecary, both of whom were considered tradespeople since they learned their skills through apprenticeship. Due to the cost of a surgeon, many of the lower class sought minor medical treatment from a more affordable option, the local barber. In addition to cutting hair and trimming mustaches, a barber performed minor surgeries and extracted teeth. The poor also sought help from peddlers of traditional medicine who offered advice and remedies based on natural and customary treatments, despite their questionable origins. These remedies must have been effective to some extent, as they remained in use throughout the Middle Ages. Thank you for watching our video on medieval trades. We hope you enjoyed learning about the various trades and industries that existed during this fascinating time period. From bakers to butchers, weavers to carpenters, and doctors to barbers, these tradespeople were essential to the functioning of society and played a key role in shaping the world we know today. If you found this video informative, please give it a like and consider subscribing to our channel for more interesting history content.